On the banks of the River Thames, a few miles from London, stands a palace steeped in splendour and scandal. Hampton Court, its red Tudor brickwork, glows in the evening light, but behind those walls lie centuries of passion, betrayal and death. This was Henry VIII's pride, a stage for royal marriages, political plots and executions. Kings and queens walked its long corridors, servants scurried through its hidden passages. Yet as night falls and the visitors leave, something else seems to take their place. For centuries, whispers of ghosts have clung to Hampton Court Palace. Staff, guards and tourists alike have described chilling encounters, disembodied voices, icy cold spots, figures in Tudor dress gliding through locked rooms. Tonight, we're going to take you inside 6 of its most famous and unnerving hauntings. From the desperate queen who ran for her life, to the CCTV footage that stunned the world, this is Hampton Court Palace as you've never seen it before. Our first stop is the Haunted Gallery, perhaps the most famous stretch of hallway in all of England. Here, the ghosts of history are said to walk openly. In November 1541, Catherine Howard, the 5th wife of Henry VIII, was arrested on charges of adultery. She was still a teenager, beautiful and impulsive. Henry was nearly 50, sick and suspicious. When her lovers were exposed, Catherine was doomed. Eyewitnesses from the time describe her breaking free from the guards and racing down this very corridor, her skirts flying, screaming for mercy. She reached the door of the chapel royal where Henry was at prayer, but she never made it inside. Guards dragged her back, kicking and crying. Within months, she was executed at the Tower of London. Ever since, people say Catherine's terrified spirits replay these moments over and over. Guides and visitors have reported cold spots, sudden drops in temperature as if you stepped into a freezer, phantom footsteps, the sound of someone running behind you when no one's there, sobbing and pleas, faint cries of Henry echoing down the gallery, the apparition of a pale woman in Tudor dress gliding towards the chapel door. In the 1990s, 2 separate tourists fainted at exactly the same spot in the haunted gallery, within minutes of each other. Neither knew the story beforehand. Staff monitored the area for weeks, but found no explanation. Today, even seasoned security guards admit they feel a strange pressure in the air when they patrol the corridor at night. Some say Catherine's soul is trapped in an endless loop, forever trying to reach Henry's door. Jump forward to December 2003. Hampton Court Palace was closed to the public for the evening. Only a handful of staff and security remain. Suddenly, alarms go off. Heavy fire doors in an isolated corridor keep swinging open, but no one's there. The next day, it happens again. The guards review the CCTV footage and see something they can't explain. A tall, robed figure with what appears to be a skeletal face step into view. It grips the door handles and slams them shut with force. When guards rush to investigate, the corridor is empty. No sign of the figure, no costumes, no pranksters. The palace releases the footage to the public. Newspapers around the world splash it across their front pages. The press dubbed the entity Skeletor. Even hardened skeptics admit the footage is hard to dismiss. To this day, no one has explained what the cameras captured. For a palace already famed for ghosts, the Skeletor footage became a rare piece of alleged evidence, a chilling glimpse of something moving in the shadows. Our next ghost takes us back to the Tudor nursery. Sybil Penn was nurse to the future King Edward VI and a trusted attendant to Jane Seymour. She died of smallpox in 1562 and was buried at St Mary's, Hampton. For centuries there were no reports of her ghost. Then, in 1829, renovations disturbed her tomb. Almost immediately, strange things began. Staff heard the sound of a spinning wheel coming from behind sealed walls. Footsteps echoed in empty apartments. A tall woman in grey was seen gliding through doorways and long corridors. The reports continued for decades. Guides described sudden cold breezes. Cleaners refused to work alone in certain rooms. Some even claimed to have felt a hand on their shoulder, only to turn and find no one is there. The Grey Lady seems to linger near Cloaked Court and the old royal apartments, the very place where Sybil once cared for her royal charge. Some believe she's still keeping watch over Edward, or searching for peace after her resting place was disturbed. Beyond the royal apartments lies Base Court, once bustling with guards, servants and petitioners. By day it's bright and open, but by night it becomes a cavern of echoes. For decades, staff have reported seeing a tall man in a dark cloak and wide-brimmed hat crossing the courtyard. He walks purposefully towards the Great Hall, then vanishes into an archway. One night, watchmen saw him twice, on separate nights. Each time, when he hurried after the figure, he found only a locked doorway and empty air. No one knows who the cloaked man might be. Some think he's a Tudor guard still patrolling his post. Others believe he's a courtier caught in some unfinished intrigue. Whatever his identity, he's another piece of Hampton Court's living tapestry of shadows. The Chapel Royal at Hampton Court is still a working chapel, but after hours another congregation seems to arrive. Visitors and staff have glimpsed a veiled woman kneeling at the altar or standing in one of the private galleries. She's often described as wearing a wimple or veil, clothing unseen since the 16th century. Sometimes a faint scent of incense drifts through the air when no service has been held. Others have reported soft singing from the empty pews. Some believe she could be Jane Seymour, Henry VIII's third wife, who died at Hampton Court after childbirth. Others think she's an attendant whose devotion outlasted her life. Whoever she is, her silent vigils in the chapel add a note of quiet sorrow to the palace's ghostly legends. Cloaked Court, one of the palace's busiest daytime areas, becomes eerily silent at night. Over the years, several guides and cleaners have reported seeing a small, child-sized shadow dart across the courtyard, slipping from one doorway to another. Unlike a normal shadow, this one appears solid and three-dimensional, moving against the direction of the light. Witnesses describe a sudden hush falling over the area, as though sound itself had been turned down. Some think it's the spirit of one of the many royal children who lived and sometimes died at Hampton Court. Perhaps a lost prince or princess, or simply one of the countless children of servants who played in the courtyard centuries ago. The Shadow Child remains one of the palace's most mysterious ghosts, playful, fleeting, and forever out of reach. From Catherine Howard's desperate sprint down the haunted gallery to the Skeletor caught on CCTV, from the Grey Lady spinning wheel to the silent cloaked man, from the veiled woman in the chapel and to the child-sized shadow in Clock Court, Hampton Court Palace is more than a museum of history. It's a living archive of emotion, tragedy, and memory. If you ever visit, slow your steps in the haunted gallery. Listen for the whir of an invisible spinning wheel. Watch the fire doors, and as you stand in the chapel or cross the courtyard at dusk, remember, the walls of Hampton Court have witnessed 500 years of human triumph and despair, and some say the echoes of that past still walk beside you.